Hey everyone, I'm Shannon from Code Red Financial. Let me ask you something. Do you ever look at your bank account, see two full-time salaries coming in, but you're still left wondering, where is all the money going? If it feels like you're just running on a financial treadmill, working harder and harder just to stay in the same place, well, you're not alone. And as we're about to find out, that feeling is completely justified. Let's kick things off with a comparison that's probably going to hit close to home. Think about it. Back in the 70s, the dream was, one income could cover a house, two kids, even a summer vacation, and you'd still have savings. Now look at today. It's two incomes, two crazy commutes, a daycare bill that looks like a second mortgage, and just this constant, nagging feeling of being stretched to the absolute limit. It's like you're always on with absolutely no backup. So, the big question is, how on earth did we get here? Was this shift to two incomes really the path to prosperity we were all promised? Or did we walk right into a financial trap? We were sold this idea of progress, right? But the numbers, and just how it feels to live day to day, they tell a very different story. So let's dig in and figure out what really happened. All right, time to get into the weeds. To really understand this trap, we've got to move past the feelings and look at the brutal math behind it all. And just a heads up, some of these numbers are, well, they're pretty shocking. Okay, check this out. This chart right here, it really nails the core of the problem. Back in 1960, you could buy a typical house for just over 2 times a single annual income. 2 years of work. Now, today, even with 2 people working their tails off, that same house costs almost 6 times the household income. The goalposts haven't just moved, they're not even in the same sport anymore. And this table just lays the disconnect bare. I mean, look at this. Since the 70s, real wages, what our money can actually buy, have hardly moved. We're talking maybe 15–20% growth. But housing costs, they've exploded by something like 400%. So how did we fill that gap? Well, we took on debt. A lot of debt. It's up over 1,000% since 1980. And guess what took the hit? Our savings. It went from a pretty solid 12% down to a terrifying 3–5%. So yeah, we're earning more dollars, but we're ending up with way, way less. Yeah, just let that one sink in for a second. That sentence says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the brutal math we just looked at. For so many of us, that second income stopped being a way to get ahead. It became the only way to not drown. So if the money isn't making us feel richer, where did it all go? This is the key idea from the book, The Two-Income Trap. Basically, when millions of families suddenly had 2 incomes, the market just adjusted. The prices for the things everyone wanted, especially houses in good school districts, shot up to meet the new higher incomes. That second salary wasn't extra, it just got absorbed by the rising costs. And what does that absorption actually look like in your budget? Well, let's break down that second paycheck. Right off the top, taxes are gone. Then comes childcare, which, wow, for so many families is basically another mortgage payment. Then you've got the second car, the gas, the insurance, the work clothes, the lunches you buy because you're too tired to pack one. You add it all up, and what's actually left over? The real gain is often so much smaller than you think. It's kind of a shock when you see it on paper. And here's the bottom line. When you actually subtract all the expenses you have to pay just to earn that second income, your real hourly wage can be depressingly low. You might be working 40+ hours a week away from your kids for what really amounts to a part-time wage. It's a tough pill to swallow. But the cost isn't just about money. We've lost something even more valuable, our financial resilience. Back in that single income model, there was a built-in safety net. A stay-at-home parent was like a secret weapon. If the main earner lost their job, the other person could go out and find work. But today, we're both fully deployed, as they say. There is no backup. One layoff, one illness, and a family can go from stable to crisis mode in a heartbeat. And all of this leads to a feeling that I know every working parent feels, deep down in their bones. It's called time poverty. It's that chronic feeling of having way too much to do and never, ever enough time to do it. Juggling 2 jobs, 2 commutes, kids' schedules, house stuff, all in the same 24 hours everyone has always had. And listen, this is not a personal failure. It's a direct result of the system we're all trying to navigate. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a lot, I know. But here's the good news. Just understanding the trap is the first most important step to getting out of it. So now let's switch gears and talk about the solution. We're going to get into a real, practical plan to help you take back control and figure out what you're really earning. All right, here we go. This is your first real, actionable step. I challenge you to do this 5-step audit for your own family. You start with the gross pay of the second income. Simple enough. Then subtract the taxes, federal, state, all of it. Next, subtract all your childcare costs, down to the penny. Then, and you have to be brutally honest here, subtract all the work-related costs. The commute, the gas, the new tires, the work clothes, the lunches you grab on the go. When you're done, that final number, that is your real take-home pay from that second job. Once you have that number, everything changes. Because now you have knowledge, you have power, and you can start to build a whole new playbook. This isn't about working harder anymore, it's about working smarter than the system. Okay, strategy number 1. This is the big one. Live on one income. I know, it sounds crazy, but this is the ultimate goal. You build your entire lifestyle, your mortgage, your car, your groceries, all of it, to fit inside just one of your salaries. It is not easy, but if you can pull it off, you build this incredible financial fortress around your family. And that entire second income, it becomes pure fuel for saving and investing. And this leads to strategy 2, which is really a huge mindset shift. Stop thinking of that second income as money for a bigger lifestyle. Start treating it like an investment vehicle. Its only job is to build wealth. Every single dollar from that paycheck should be a soldier you send out to fight for you. It's for killing off debt, maxing out your 401ks and IRAs, and buying actual assets. Don't just let it get eaten by a bigger house payment. All right, strategy 3 might be a little controversial, but it's so important. Question the school district premium. A huge reason we're all in this mess is the bidding war for houses in good school districts. But I want you to actually run the numbers. Figure out how much extra you're paying on your mortgage every single month just to be in that specific zip code. Then look up private school tuition in a cheaper area. Could you actually save money by buying a less expensive house and just paying for private school? You'd be surprised how often the answer is yes. See, once you've done that audit, you can start asking these really smart questions. What is your time really worth financially? For example, could one of you work remotely, even if it meant a small pay cut? If you eliminate a whole commute and a huge chunk of your childcare bill, you might actually come out ahead financially. You have to stop looking at the gross salary and start looking at the real net impact on your bank account and, just as importantly, on your life. And really, this is what it's all about. The system is pretty much built to swallow your second income whole. It wants you on that treadmill, just running faster and faster. But winning this game, it isn't about more hustle. It's about finally understanding the rules so you can decide to play a completely different and much smarter game. So, I'm going to leave you with this one final question to think about. The system was built for 2 incomes. The whole modern economy expects it from you. So, are you building a life that only needs one? Because that right there might be the most powerful financial move you can ever make.